The wings were still burning when the bells began to ring, not with fire but with memory, a slow ache spreading through every blackened feather as the Hell Angel sat alone beneath a flickering streetlight on Christmas Eve, snow falling like quiet judgment on his bowed head while the world celebrated warmth he no longer believed he deserved. His name was Oshriel, once carved into hymns and whispered in prayers, now buried beneath centuries of guilt and exile, and as midnight crept closer, the city shimmered with joy that felt cruelly out of reach, storefront windows glowing with laughter while he sat on the cold stone steps of an abandoned chapel, wondering if even hell had forgotten him. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet miracles that still happen in broken places, take a moment right now to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, subscribe to the channel, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from, because this story is for every soul who has ever felt alone on a night meant for love. Oshriel had not fallen because he hated the light, but because he loved humanity too fiercely, breaking divine law to spare a village from annihilation centuries ago, choosing compassion over command and paying for it with exile, scorched wings, and an eternity of watching humans repeat the same mistakes he was punished for trying to prevent. Christmas Eve was always the hardest night for him, because it reminded him of promises, of mercy, of a child born to save the world, and every year he returned to the same forgotten corner of the city, not to seek forgiveness, but because it was the one night he allowed himself to remember who he used to be. Snow gathered on his shoulders as he replayed memories of choirs, candlelight, and warmth, all while convincing himself that redemption was a story meant for others, not fallen angels stained by defiance. Across the street, unnoticed at first, a single mother named Clara walked carefully through the snow, her coat thin, her steps heavy with exhaustion, holding the small gloved hand of her daughter Lily, whose eyes sparkled with wonder despite the world having given her so little. Clara had lost her husband years earlier to an accident that left more bills than memories, and since then life had become a constant balancing act between hope and survival, especially on nights like this when every closed shop and cheerful window felt like a reminder of what she could not provide. She had promised Lily they would find somewhere warm to sit and wait until morning, somewhere safe, because the shelter was full and pride had long ago been replaced by the simple need to protect her child. As they passed the abandoned chapel, Lily slowed, drawn not by the building but by the shape sitting on its steps, a figure too still, too large, and too sad to ignore. Oshriel sensed them before he saw them, a warmth cutting through his isolation like a blade of light, and for a moment he considered leaving, vanishing into shadow as he always did when humans came too close, afraid that his presence would only frighten or curse them. But something held him there, something fragile and human, and when he finally lifted his head, snow sliding from his dark hair, he met Lily's wide, unafraid gaze, a gaze that saw not a monster but a lonely soul. Clara felt fear rise in her chest at first, the instinct to shield her daughter and turn away, but exhaustion dulled her panic, and there was something heartbreakingly familiar about the way the stranger sat, shoulders hunched, eyes heavy with centuries of sorrow, like someone who had lost everything and was too tired to pretend otherwise. Oshriel did not speak, did not move, but the air around him seemed to hum with a sadness so deep it made Clara's own burdens feel momentarily lighter, as if pain recognized pain. Lily tugged gently at her mother's hand, curiosity overpowering caution, and in that silent exchange, something ancient shifted. Oshriel felt a crack form in the armor he had built around his heart, because Lily reminded him of every human he had ever tried to save, every innocent life he had believed was worth defying heaven for, and the shame he carried began to loosen its grip. He became aware of how cold the night was, not just for himself but for the two fragile figures standing before him, and without thinking, he moved aside on the steps, offering space, an invitation without words. Clara hesitated only a moment before sitting, the stone freezing beneath her, Lily nestling close, and for the first time that night, the three of them shared the same silence, a silence that did not judge or demand, only existed. Time passed differently then, the city noise fading as snow continued to fall, and Oshriel felt something he had not felt in centuries stirring in his chest, a quiet purpose. He watched as Clara tried to stay strong, shoulders squared, eyes scanning the street for danger, and Lily leaned against her, humming softly, and he realized that suffering had not broken them, only shaped them into something resilient and luminous. Without words, he extended a fragment of his remaining power, not fire or fear, but warmth, and the cold seemed to ease around them, Lily's shivering slowing, Clara's tense breath softening as if an unseen blanket had been draped over their souls. Memories flooded Asriel's mind, not of his fall, but of his calling, of what it meant to watch over the lost, to be present in moments of quiet despair, and he understood then that redemption was not granted by heaven, but built in moments like this, small and unseen. The chapel door behind them, long abandoned and sealed, creaked softly, pushed open by a wind that felt deliberate, revealing a dim interior untouched by vandalism, candles inexplicably lit, casting a golden glow that spilled onto the snow. Clara stared in disbelief, torn between fear and relief, but exhaustion won, and she guided Lily inside, Asriel following, his wings brushing the doorway without burning it. Inside, the air was warm, the candles steady, and the space felt protected, sacred in a way that transcended religion, and as they sat together on old pews, Asriel felt the weight of centuries lift just enough for him to breathe. Lily fell asleep against her mother's shoulder, safe, and Clara closed her eyes for the first time in days, trusting the moment, trusting the presence that had offered them refuge without asking for anything in return. Outside, the bells rang louder, and Asriel realized that for the first time since his fall, he was not alone on Christmas Eve. As dawn approached, the candles slowly dimmed, and the warmth lingered, wrapping the room in peace, and Asriel felt a gentle pull, not downward, but upward, a reminder that mercy had not forgotten him after all. He knew he would have to leave before morning, that his path was still uncertain, but something fundamental had changed, because he now understood that even a fallen angel could still serve, could still love, could still be part of a miracle. When Clara and Lily awoke, they would remember the night as strange but comforting, a moment when kindness found them in the cold, and Asriel would carry that memory like a promise etched into his soul. Before this story ends, take a moment to comment and tell us what kindness means to you, because your words might be the light someone else needs tonight. As Asriel stepped back into the falling snow, wings aching but heart lighter than it had been in centuries, he looked back once at the chapel, at the faint glow still lingering, and allowed himself a small, fragile hope that redemption was not a destination, but a series of choices, made again and again, even in the darkest places. And if this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that no one is beyond hope, please like, share, and engage with this video, because every interaction helps spread stories that heal, and somewhere out there, someone sitting alone on Christmas Eve might need to hear this one.